Here are three sets of people that should watch this tutorial. 1. If you still make your bustier tops and they cannot be worn without a bra. 2. If you still make your neat finished outfits but it cannot be easily adjusted when need be. 3. If you still draft and make your bustier tops or your dresses and you are believing a sort of miracle for it to fit because you're not confident on how you've drafted and how you've made your bustier, then this tutorial is for you. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ruth. In today's tutorial I'll be teaching you how to make bustier top like you see that can fit like a glove when you follow the right steps without even putting on a bra. So if you're interested in this tutorial, let's get right into it. Right? For today's tutorial, I'll be making use of this African print. It's less than one and a half yards. It's from a leftover fabric from one of the projects I worked on before. I'm making of this black lining. It's locally called about lining. You can make use of the suit lining. This is what the suit lining looks like. But I'll be making use of this aba lining. Now I'll also be having my interlining, which is the SA. I'll be placing it on the fabric alone, but you can actually place it on both your fabric and your lining. We also need your wording for padding the bust area. All right, the wording has the shining part and the dull part. So now let's get into it. So start, you want to mark out your shoulder. My shoulder is 14 inches. 14 divided by 2 will giving us 7 inches. Okay, so now from that 7 inches mark, I'm going to come down by 1 inch. From the beginning of my shoulder, I'm just going to impute my shoulder line, which is 8.5. I imputed my bust, shoulder to my bust, shoulder to my under bust, shoulder to my waistline, then the blouse length. Okay, I'll also be imputing it on the other side so that it will help me to mark a very straight point. Now for this top, I'll be making use of the bust dart technique. Okay, which means I've measured what the difference between my front bodice and the back length is. Okay, so for my bust, I noticed that the difference between the two is 2 inches. So the blouse length for this front top is going to be 24, while the blouse length for the back is going to be minus 2 inches, which is going to be 22. Okay, so I'm just going ahead now to highlight all my measurements. Now if you notice carefully, while I was drafting this, while I was marking all my lines, you notice that this point now where I'm trying to make a point is the 22 inches mark. The 22 inches mark is going to help me to know where my dart end leg is going to be, okay, before extending it out. So now I'm going to mark out my chest line again, which is 8.5, remember. Now the same measurement I have at my shoulder length, I will impute it at my chest line there. Then I'm going to rule a straight mark connecting it from the shoulder to where my chest line is. Now let's impute our shoulder slope. I'll be going in by 3 inches from the center front. Okay, so now from that 3 inches mark, you want to connect it to the 1 inch you came down at the beginning of the shoulder. All right, this will help you to achieve your shoulder slope. Now let's impute our circumference. At the bust, you want to impute your bust circumference divided by 4. Okay, now to know what you impute at your chest line, whatever value you have after imputing your bust circumference divided by 4, just add a quarter of an inch to it. Then impute your under bust circumference divided by 4 as well. Impute your waistline circumference divided by 4 as well. Then also impute your hip line circumference divided by 4. Okay, at this point you can decide to measure your upper hip. There's something called the upper hip and the actual hip. All right, so just go ahead now and connect this point. I'm connecting from my chest line to my bust, from my bust to my waist. Okay, if you notice I neglected the under bust, so we'll get back to that. Then from your waist, connect to your hip line like so. So once you're done now, we want to get our armhole curve. Firstly, connect that straight line. If you're a beginner, you want to do this to help you to know where your curve of the armhole is going to sit. Now from the beginning of the shoulder to your chest line, divide the value you have there into 2, just like you see me do. Mine was 8.5 divided by 2 gave me 4.25. Okay, at that 4.25 mark for the front, I'm going to be going in by 0.75. So now once you've gotten that 0.75 mark, connect it to the beginning of your shoulder. Once you're done, connect from that point as well, like you see me do, to your chest line. Okay, you want to make use of your curve ruler or your freehand method. All you need to do is to make sure that you achieve a curve that sits perfectly at the chest line, just like you see. So now we are done drafting a basic bodice block. Okay, so now we are going to be altering this pattern now to make our bustier and our strap top. And for this alteration, you'll be needing your nipple to nipple measurement. Let me show you easily how to get this. Divide your bust circumference by 4. So mine is 36 divided by 4 gave me 9. I'm going to be deducting 1.5 from this 9 inch. 9 inch minus 1.5 will be giving me 7.5. So this 7.5 now is what I'll be dividing by 2. Remember, the pattern is folded into 2. So when you divide 7.5 into 2, you'll be imputing it as your nipple to nipple measurement. Okay, so that's how to get yours if you are unable to measure it on your clients. I've been using this method over the years, and believe me, it works perfectly. So just go ahead and impute your nipple to nipple divided by 2 at the bust, the under bust, the waistline, of course the 22 inches mark, which is going to be your dart end leg. Okay, you can also impute it at the blouse, the full blouse length. Once you're done, just connect this using a straight mark. So once you're able to achieve this, now at the waist point is where we'll be imputing our darts. Okay, so now in between the two darts, I'm going to be taking 0.5 inch at both sides, just like you see me do. Now go ahead now and connect this 0.5 inch mark to the bust point. Connect it to my 22 inches mark, which is the dart end leg. Okay, so which means my dart starts at the bust point and ends at the 22 inches mark. All right, so I'll do this for the two sides where I mark that 0.5 inch. So once you're done achieving this, now you've been able to just get, this is the first step you need in altering this basic bodice block to achieve a bustier. Okay, so now go ahead now and impute that 1 inch I took out at the waist. I will impute it back so that my measurements can still be accurate. Go ahead now and connect from your waistline to the bust, and also connect it from the waist to the blouse length. Okay, so that you are sure that your measurement is still accurate. Remember, we didn't impute the dart at the beginning. Okay, so that's why I'm doing this now. So let's alter this. Now at the bust, at the under bust, remember that is where the under bust tightening is going to be happening. You want to impute your under bust circumference divided by 4. So once you've imputed it, go ahead and mark, cross check what you have left. Okay, so once I cross check, I had 1 1/4 left. So this 1 1/4, I'm going to be dividing it into 2 if I choose, and I'll be applying them at the under bust after that we've made there. So for the center front, I'm going to be imputing 1/2 1/4 at the center front. Then the side front, I'm going to be imputing 1/2 inch. Okay, by the time you calculate 1/2 inch plus 1/2 1/4, it's going to give you the 1/4 left. That's the 1.25, which was calculated earlier. All right, so now this is what you want to do. Once you're done, now connect from that point at the under bust to your bust point. All right, making use of your curve ruler, or you can make use of your freehand method, whatever works perfectly for you. You want to make sure this is one of the ways you can achieve that right under bust tightening. Okay, this works perfectly. Just make sure you do it correctly. So at the under bust as well, you want to connect it to your waistline. Note that I connected it to my waistline. Okay, I didn't connect it to the 22 inches mark. If you are connecting it to the 22 inches mark, make sure you recheck your measurements at the waistline to be sure that your circumference, your bust circumference divided by 4 is still accurate and have not been tampered with. Okay, so at the side front as well, you want to connect from the under bust to the bust point, just like you see me do. Connect as well from the under bust to the waist point as well. So now we've successfully drafted the under bust tightening. For the over bust tightening, we're going to be making use of that shoulder slope to the end of the shoulder. Whatever you want to divide it into two. Whatever you have there, mark the middle point. Okay, so mine was 4 inches. Once I marked the middle point, I had 2 inches. So I'll be connecting now from our bust point to that 2 inches mark, just like you see me do now. Then because we are making a spaghetti strap, okay, which I added a little bit of ruffle for, you want to determine how low you want this to be. So I'm going to be making it just 6.5 inch, because I don't want my cleavage revealing so much. So you can make it lower, just like whatever it is that rocks your boat. Okay, so I'll be marking out that 6.5 inch mark visible with my pencil. Then now this is where the overbust tightening matters. Okay, at that break point there, you want to make sure it is well cinched. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and mark 1 inch at both sides at my shoulder, connecting it back to my bust point, just like you see me do now. That 1 inch I came in by at the shoulder line there, and just connecting it to my bust point. Now this is also what you want to do if you want it well fitted. At that 6.5 inch mark, which is going to be your break point, you want to go in by 0.75 at the middle, just like you see me do. Just follow what you see me do now. So because I wanted it to be well closed, I don't want, maybe I'm putting on the bustier top and I'm bending down and all my cleavage is revealing. Okay, so I decided to go in by 0.75. So now this 0.75, now I'm going to be connecting it to my bustier. Now this is the new over bust tightening I've decided to do. Alright, so once you are done with this now, at that your bust point, you can see how sharp it looks. You don't want it looking that sharp, so it does not give you a pointy face once you're done making your outfit. So just go ahead and make it look a little bit curved. Okay, either with your freehand method or with your curve ruler. Just make sure it's not pointed. Now for above that technique, now at the bust line there, I'm just going to be coming down by 2 inches. Remember, that is the difference between my front and the back bodice. So from that 2 inches we came down from, just connect it to the bust point. All right, just like you see me do now. And we are done drafting this. Before you cut out, you want to determine the hem if you want it looking stylish. So I went up by 2.5 inch because I want it to have this curvy effect. All right, so from that 2.5 inch that I came up by now, I'll just connect it beautifully back to the hem of the top. So before I complete this, I'm also going to be creating our neckline. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this through from the middle. I just cut out the hemline alone. Then I'm also cutting through the dart lines. Okay, but I won't cut it completely because we've not done our hemline and also the bust that technique. We've not closed it. Right, so I'll go ahead now. From the shoulder I came down by 8.5. That's the depth I want mine to be at the center front. So you can just make whatever desired shape. I want to try and achieve a sweetheart neckline, but not so deep sweetheart neckline. All right, so I'm just connecting it from that center front back to the middle, just like you see me do now. So once you've done this, you want to make sure that you cross check what you are working on. Okay, from the over bust, you want to cross check it to the bust line to be sure that it's even. So by the time I calculated mine, I noticed that it was short of 0.25. Okay, so that's what I'm just trying to correct here. If you don't make this adjustment, by the time you are connecting the side front and the center front together, it might not be even at that upper part. So that was just what I did there. So once we are done with this now, the next thing now is to close our bust dart. Okay, so just watch what I did. I picked it from the down part, okay, not the upper side, not the bust line. That 2 inch line we came down by, that's where I pulled it up. So I just made it as straight as possible, then I overlapped it at the bust line. So at this point I could not locate where I kept my sellotape, so I'm making use of just a pin for now to hold it down. So you want to make sure you overlap it very well, all right, so that the side of this front will match up with the side of the back. Okay, so once I'm done now, I'm just trying to make sure that the little line there is matching up, okay, because when you pull it up like that, it's not going to be even again. So you want to make sure that you just cross check whatever it is you have left. You can see I'm also trying to cross check the neckline as well, and once I did, you can see it is even at that point there after I've adjusted it by 0.25. So for the other neckline, that's the side, you can either decide to alter it as well or just leave it like I did. So I just altered the neckline of the center front alone, okay, and I just left the armhole the way it was because I don't want it too deep. So once I'm done, I'll just go ahead and cut out all I've done. Once you're cutting, you need to be very careful, okay, so you don't end up cutting out the part that is not meant. You can actually shade out the parts, the dart points, okay, so that you won't be cutting the wrong side. So this is just basically how to draft out the front pattern to make a well fitted bustier top, okay. So we'll be cutting the back now. For your back, all you need now is to divide your shoulder as well into two. Remember, our shoulder is 14 divided by 2 gave us 7. From that 7 inches mark, I'm going to be coming down by 1 inch for the shoulder slant. And I'll be imputing my chest line. My shoulder to my chest line is 8.5. The shoulder to the bust is 10 inch. I won't be needing my under bust here. Shoulder to my waist, I'll be also be imputing the shoulder to my 22 inches mark. Okay, then my blouse length, my total blouse length. Just like I always do, I'll be imputing it on two sides so that my ruling can be very straight. So I'm just going ahead to highlight my chest line, my bust points, my bust line, my waistline, the 22 inches length, then the total blouse length. So once I'm done doing this now, I'll be imputing my measurement. I'll be imputing my shoulder slope. So from the center back, I'm going to go in by 3 inches and I'll be imputing my shoulder slope. From that 3 inches, you want to connect it to that 1 inch mark you came down by earlier. So I'll be using this to achieve my shoulder slope. Shoulder slopes are actually done to have a nicely finished outfit. So you don't want to have your outfit looking puffy at the shoulder part. At the bust line, I'm going to be imputing my bust circumference divided by 4. At my chest line, I'll be imputing my bust circumference divided by 4 plus 0.25. Okay, that's a quarter of an inch. At the waistline, before imputing my waist circumference, I'll be going in by half of an inch at the waistline, that's at the center back, okay. And the reason why we do this is to avoid zipper bulge and to make the dress fit nicely, okay. So I went in by half of an inch there to take out any zipper bulge. After that, you want to now impute your waist circumference divided by 4. Then you'll be adding 1 inch for that, okay. At the hip line as well, I'll be imputing my hip circumference divided by 4. So I'll go ahead now and connect this from the chest line to the bust line, from the bust line to the waist, from the waist to the blouse length. Once you're done with this now, let's finish up our armhole. For your armhole, firstly you want to impute the shoulder divided by 2 you imputed at the beginning at the chest line. So I'll be imputing my shoulder divided by 2, which gave me 7 inches at that chest line there. I'll be connecting it to the beginning of the shoulder like you see me do with a straight line. Then also try and connect it from that chest line again to the, just like you see me do now. This will help you to achieve a well fitted armhole. You want to divide what you have from the beginning of the shoulder to the chest line. Divide it into 2. Come in by half of an inch at that place you divided it into 2. Then you'll be connecting from that half of an inch to the beginning of your shoulder with a slanted line. Then from that part as well, make a curve sitting well at the chest line, okay. So just watch what I'm doing closely. It's very simple to do. So being able to achieve your armhole, if you are able to calculate your armhole perfectly, you won't have issues with your armhole once you're done drafting, and of course once you're fitting the dress on you. So just like we did for the front of the blouse, we're also going to be coming up by 2.5 inch here to create that curvy look effect, okay. So before we achieve the curvy look effect, Remember our blouse length for the back is shorter by 2 inch. Okay, so that's I'm deducting that 2 inches now. So I'm trying to measure it. Remember our blouse length for the front was 24, so the blouse length for the back is going to be 22 inch. So I'm trying to mark my 22 inch now, and I'm going to rule out the new blouse length for the back. I'm going to be cancelling that part that I don't need. Okay, you can just make like an asterisk there. So now this is the part I'm going to be imputing the 2 inch mark, where I'm going to be having the curve. But before we do the curve, let's impute our dart and also take out the zip bulge. To take out the zip bulge, remember we came in by 1/2 inch at the waistline. Now to connect this seamlessly, go down by your chest line, that's where it's going to start, and also at the 22 inches mark, that is where it's going to stop. So now, just like you see me do, I'm trying to connect from that my waist point to the chest line, and also connect from the waistline to the 22 inches mark. This is just the perfect way to make sure you take out the zip bulge, and trust me, once you do this, your outfit is going to sit perfectly on you. So once you're done now, we're going to be imputing our dart, my nipple to, and to get my dart, I'm going to be making use of my nipple to nipple. Okay, so my nipple to nipple is 3.75 after dividing by 2. Remember, it's 7.5. All right, so I'll impute it at the waistline. To impute at the waistline, make sure you go in after the dart, after that elimination we did there for the zip bulge. So that's where I'm going to be imputing. Impute it at the waistline, at the bust point, and the 22 inches mark. Okay, so now once you're done, now I'm just marking a straight line. This will help me to create my dart. At the waistline, going by 1/2 inch on the two sides, just like you see me do. It's very easy to do. At the waistline, connect it to the bust point, then on the other side as well, connect it from that 1/2 inch you came in by to the bust point. Repeat the same thing from the waistline, connect it to the hip line. Repeat it on the other side too as well. From the waistline, connect it to the 22 inches mark. This is just how to take out your dart. Okay, you can also repeat the same thing on your fabric. This is exactly the way to take out darts. Okay, so now once I'm done, I'm just trying to determine the neckline that I want for the back. I came down by 9 inch at the center back, and I'm also trying to measure out, this is the front pattern. Remember, I'm trying to measure out what I did at the armhole part. I did 6.5, so I'll be imputing that same 6.5 at this place because I want it to be even at the armhole. But for the center back, I just did whatever it is I wanted. Okay, so I'm just connecting this now. This is going to be my new neckline. All right, so now because I need to cut out my dart, I want to take out the dart on the pattern. I don't want to take it on my fabric. I'm just going to use that same dart line at my bust and do it at the neckline there. Okay, so just like you see me do, I'm connecting it straight so I can easily cut it out. Now to avoid gaping of this top at the back, I'm going to be altering it a bit. So for my shoulder slope there, I'm going to the beginning of the shoulder, I'm going to divide it into 2. Then I'll be connecting a straight mark from the bust line to that part where I divided it into 2. So at that point, you want to go in by 1 inch on both sides, just like you see me do. Then connect it from your bust point to that mark. Okay, so I'm just using our shoulder dart to take out any form of gaping. Okay, so once I'm done, I'm just going to leave it like this, then I'll be cutting it out. So before cutting, don't forget to label your pattern. Okay, so I didn't label this before cutting, but after cutting I labeled them. All right, so you don't mix it up, because the center back and the center side, the center back and the side back is almost looking the same, so you don't want to make a mistake. And I also, if you remember, the side front, we came up by 2.5 inch to have a curvy look, but we didn't do it for the back, so I'll be doing it now. I'll be going up by 2.5 inch at the center, at the side back. Okay, so just go by 2.5 inch there, then you connect it evenly. Okay, you can make use of your curve ruler, or you can make use of your freehand method. Another way to achieve it is to place the front on the back pattern as well, to make sure that what you have there is even, so that when you're coupling the front and the back, the hem is even. So this is what I'm just trying to cross check, and mine was even. Okay, so once you're done as well, you want to cross check the side front and the side back to be sure it is even. Once I cross checked mine, I noticed that it was even, so I'm good to go. I'll go ahead now and cut out the hem of the back, which you have just done the cover. We have not cut it out, so I'll just go ahead now and cut it out. So one of the reasons why I love to cross check my pattern is, if your pattern was well drafted and you've checked everything is perfect, you won't have any hiccup while sewing. Okay, it will come out perfectly because you drafted your pattern correctly. So once you're done now, you just want to transfer your pattern to your fabric. So now this is just what I'm trying to do. I'm cutting the back. For the side back, you want to add as much as allowance you prefer. I love to use 2 inch because of the way I make my outfits. So you can use in between half of an inch to 2 inch. Okay, so just make sure it's not so bulky by the side. Then the center front, add your the center back, add your zipper allowance. Okay, then at the hem I added 1 inch. At the upper part I added half of an inch. Then the sides I added half inch. I repeated the same thing as well for the front. The side front I added 2 inch. The middle, where I'll be coupling the bustier, I added just half of an inch. At the hem I added 1 inch. Then at the upper part I added half of an inch. Okay, the sewing allowance, whatever it is you can work with, just make your sewing allowance that. Just make sure that that's what you're working with when you're coupling it as well. For the front bodice, you want to make sure you notch where your nipple line is going to be. That's your bust point, your under bust point. Okay, if you notice, I notched mine at the center front, and I also notched it at the middle. Okay, that's the middle panel. I notched it just like you see me do now. Make sure you notch the bust point and the under bust point, so that when you're coupling your bustier, it will sit perfectly. Okay, we've come to the end of the drafting and the cutting of this beautiful top. Okay, in our next tutorial I'll be showing you one of the tips in order to make sure that your bustier sits perfectly on you without any bra, and it does not have any form of gaping both at the front and the back. Remember, if you are not confident when making bustier, then this tutorial is for you. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial and hope it was value packed. If it was, give this video a thumbs up, like, subscribe, turn on post notification so you'll be informed when I post a new tutorial. Also turn on post notification bell because you need to see the sewing of this beautiful top. Bye, see you on the next one. Don't forget to subscribe.